Welcome back to LEGO Wars. After a lockdown-related hiatus, we're back with a bang with our second international special. With the field expanding exponentially since RoboNerd, we begin with the qualifiers for the main tournament, so let's see the bots.
First, from England, Atlas.
Bursting in from the RWA scene is Atlas, with its bulldozing scoop to power through the qualifiers.
From Wales, Block Dougal.
The plucky Welsh doggo returns for another shot at glory with its improved stabbing weaponry.
From Australia, Chompy.
Flying the flag for the land of Oz is Chompy with an impressive grabbing system to control the fight.
From Ireland, Detour.
Boggle-eyed Detour is back for another go at international glory with its much improved lifting scoop.
From USA, Frenzy.
Frenzy are back and out for revenge following their upset loss to Detonator, armed again with that devastating hammer.
From the USA, Hijinx.
Hijinx breaks in as the first undercutter in the LEGO Wars scene to shred up the competition.
From Japan, King B Cubed.
King B Cubed returns to the war zone after some well-needed refinements to bring it to the next level.
From Italy, Mastiff.
Mastiff by name, massive by nature, this scary-looking machine looks to take the tournament by storm with its flipping up.
From Japan, Mecca Bowser.
Roaring in from the land of the rising sun is Mecca Bowser, armed with a beautifully crafted spinning shell.
From England, Mingo.
Black, white, green or blue, this pink bot is coming for you, with dual peckers to cleave it into the field.
From the USA, Rusty.
Fresh off of winning over the internet, Rusty makes its debut in LEGO Wars, armed with a bruising sledgehammer.
From the USA, Scorpios.
Launching from the west coast is Scorpios with its unique overhead spinner to rip up oncoming foes.
From England, Sweepy.
The unstable fan favourite is back in action to bludgeon the opposition once more with its heavy overhead bar.
From England, Tin.
Charging into the ring is Tin with its deadly looking asymmetric disc to tear up everything in its way.
From Northern Ireland, Wickmead.
Another new machine for the series, Wickmead has a large rear-hinged flipper to toss opponents across the arena floor.
From Canada, Zoidy.
Back for a second tilt at international glory is Zoidy Blue with their unusual horizontal claws to dig into the field. Here's how they line up for the qualifiers. First is the stealthy Scorpios against the crabby Zoidy Blue, then it's an all-England affair with Tin taking on Atlas. After that it's more inter-team penny capers with Block Dougal fighting Wickmead. Fight 4 is an all-US encounter between Rusty and Hijinx. Then it's the Mastiff Massive against the enduring King B Cubed. Fight 6 then has Chompy from Down Under against Frenzy of the USA. The penultimate fight of the night will see fan favourite Sweepy take on newcomers Mecca Bowser from Japan. And finally, the pink pecking machine of Mingo fights the polka dot wonder of Detour. Let's join our returning commentator Anderson and get on with the action.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
So the LEGO Wars International Special is underway. It is good to be back. Scorpio's bringing down that overhead spinner. It is an overhead spinner, not a hammer saw. Remember that, people. Zoidy Blue from Canada with those big claws, seeing if they can grab a hold of Scorpio. Scorpio's though using good driving there, holding the spinner down, almost using it as a vertical spinner there really, but Zoidy Blue managing to push them into the side wall, getting those claws in behind the wedge, trying to crumple it in. Good work here by Zoidy Blue, but having to let go. Couldn't really do much more after that. Is Scorpio's spinner okay? Yes, no, maybe. It sort of spins then stops, spins then stops. Scorpio's driving into the corner. That's where the pit is. They don't want to be there for too long. Are they having control problems, I wonder? Is Zoidy Blue okay? They seem to have stopped. No, they're moving forward. Is there some sort of radio problems perhaps here? I'm not too sure. Both of them seem to be moving okay now. Scorpio's arm has not risen back up. It's almost as if they're trying to use it as a vertical spinner. Zoidy Blue seems to be quite sturdily built though. trying to use those claws to sort of grab and control the fight. Good attack there though by Scorpios, good aggression as well. The judges will have taken note of that. Zoidy Blue pushing them back. Good old Border Wars here. Canada versus the US of A. Zoidy Blue, obviously only really known for Lego Wars, but Scorpios, meanwhile, a legend of BattleBots fame. Has claimed some mighty scalps in the past, like Ice Wave. Trying to get that saw into the wheels of Zoidy Blue. Zoidy Blue going to go hit the pit reef. Oh, some damage caused there. Now, that could be decisive if this goes to the judges, and it could well go to the judges. Pit button being pushed by Scorpios, so down goes the pit. Good tactics. They obviously think they can get Zoidy Blue down the pit, although Zoidy Blue have now grabbed a hold of them. Tough fight this one so far. Very, very close. If it does go to the judges, it will be tight. Very, very close indeed, but Scorpios on the verge of the pit here. And can Zoidy Blue take advantage of this? Oh, Scorpios on the verge of going down, Erin. And Zoidy Blue take the first victory in the International Special. Well done, Canada. Good fight, that one. Good, even, and close. Scorpios' arm came down that first time, and I think it got broke or something because it didn't retract after that. Zoidy Blue used good control and aggression throughout, grabbing a hold of Scorpios, slamming them into the side walls, crumpling in. Not much damage caused, but there was definitely good control, and eventually enough control to pit the American Scorpios. Zoidy Blue go through, doing it for Canada.
After that dominant display, we move on to Fight 2 of the night between Tip Top Tin and RWA Legends Atlas.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So we have an All England affair here. Tin, which is a Lego Cobalt, obviously, versus Atlas, which is a scaled-up version of another robot called Atlas from a Family Wars series called RWA Rebirth. I've never heard of it personally, but apparently it's quite good. Meanwhile, Tin now trying to get that spinner in on those tracks of Atlas, which look very exposed and could be a good target for that spinner, but Atlas using good tactics here to keep them at bay with that big bucket scoop of theirs. It lifts up and down. It is a slow weapon, I'll admit, but it is being effective at keeping the spinner of Tin away from the tracks, and they're using good control and aggression here to pin Tin against the arena side wall. This is actually a bit of a surprise here. I thought Tin would have no problem with this fight, especially because of the exposed tracks, but they're being lifted up here now by Atlas. Oh, nearly flicked over, but Atlas overbalancing in the end. Now Tin going for those tracks, but still just missing them. That was an unfortunately missed opportunity there from Tin, and Atlas again using that scoop to stop the spinner. This is a really good fight here, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Atlas again getting underneath Tin here and again lifting them up into the air. Can they get them up and over? No. Tin managing to escape and hitting the flicking bucket scoop there. Bent it a little bit, I think, and again trying to get to those tracks but failing. Tin, I would say, is probably the more damaging machine of these two, but definitely the more aggressive machine is Atlas, and definitely the more controlled as well. Look at this for an attack here by Atlas, pinning Tin against the arena sidewall and lifting it into the air. I am absolutely gobsmacked here. I never thought that Tin was going to struggle this much here, but they've been toppled. What an attack by Atlas! And they're right by the pit. Atlas going for the pit release button now. Surely it's only a matter of time until that goes down. if they can hit the pit button effectively. I'm not too sure if they can. Come on, lads. You've done all the hard work. Well, time's ticking down here for Tin. The pit button has been pressed. Tin are in all sorts of problems, though, and are about to be sunk. They've been counted down. And Atlas want to finish the job, and they do! What an upset! Atlas qualify for the International Special. Do it for England, lads! And more importantly, do it for RWA! Not that I've ever heard of it, I promise. Well, I'm in shock and awe. That bucket scoop of Atlas is very effective at keeping that spinner of Tins at bay. They managed to avoid the spinner at all costs. Got several good attacks in, showed good aggression and control throughout, got many good lifts in, didn't quite manage to get Tin upside down until this moment here, using a good tactic, pinning them against the side wall, lifting that bucket scoop up and eventually toppling them against the side wall, and once that was done, it was only a matter of time until Tin went down the pit. Atlas go through.
With that incredible upset win for Atlas, we move on to our next fight between the boisterous Wickmead taking on the unassuming Block Dougal.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
The battle of the buddies, this one. Block Dougal from Wales, Wickmead of Northern Ireland, and Wickmead nearly flipped over immediately there by Block Dougal. Block now has a front wedge to help it get underneath of the machines, and that was very effective there against Wickmead. Getting behind Wickmead, which is quite clearly a scaled up Lego Nexus from Antweight Anarchy, hence why it's representing Northern Ireland. Trying to get underneath Block. Oh, just missing a chance to flip it there. Block now going for the pit button and pressing it. There's that little stabbing spiker there, which, being honest, doesn't really do much, but it's good fun to watch anyway, and it's being very aggressive here and is definitely on top of you, ask me, actually, so far. Block, especially because of that opening power surge. Now trying to bring those spikes into play and that front wedge, although I think Wickmead has just got underneath them, but Wickmead not taking advantage of it, and now driving into the side wall. Okay. Lads, your opponent's in front of you. There we go. Go on, try and attack them now. Block, using good aggression and control to avoid the flipper and keep coming in on the attack. Wickmead doing nothing. This has all been Block so far. Oh, but a bit of damage done to the skirt of Block. And again, let's be honest now, Block hasn't exactly been known for staying together in its fights. Although the head has still managed to remain untacked thus far in this fight, but they're underneath Wickmead again here and pushing him, and Wickmead's flipper is breaking apart by the looks of things. That might be why they can't get underneath and flip as effectively as they might want to. Block causing all kinds of problems for them here, even if they are slowly but surely shedding their fur all over the arena. Goodness me. We really must train this dog better, mustn't we? Not leave its fur all over our lovely arena floor. Wickmead, good at power surge turn there, trying to come in, and Block being pinned against the side wall but pushing back. Close fight this. I would say that Block are on top due to the damage onto Wickmead's flipper and the aggression and the control and, well, everything, to be honest. Good pushing here again by Block into the corner. Trying to get those spikes into play. Wickmead in all sorts of problems here. Managing to get away again. They just haven't seemed to got the speed or the agility to get that flipper into a useful place. And as you can see, it's now completely broken off. They are in all sorts of problems here. They're overbalancing themselves. And off comes the flipper entirely now. And now it's just a pair of wheels with an exposed battery. But pushing back on Block pushing back on them though. Block doing all the aggression work though, all the control, all the damage! And Wickmead throwing itself down the pit. To be fair, it was probably the best place for it after that. Block go through with the pride of Wales. That was a strong performance by Block Dougal, not giving Wickmead any chance to really breathe. A good opening attack had them pinned against the side wall, followed by another one here, look, getting underneath, good aggression, good control. Wickmead could just not get that flipper into a good enough position to get a good flip in. Eventually it started breaking apart as well. Block Dougal, persistent, aggressive throughout. Eventually Wickmead's flipper broke off there. And once that happened, there was only one place for it to go.
Next up, we have the colourful Hijinx and the precious boy Rusty duking it out for the right to represent the USA.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Now, neither of these machines has performed since BattleBot, so if they don't perform as well as you'd hope, remember, they're a little bit rusty. But hey, jokes, I've got them. And Hijinx, goodness me! Hijinx! Completely tearing away one of the protective panels that protect the tracks on Rusty. Rusty trying to bring that hammer into play to absolute zero effect. Hijinx, goodness me! Representing the United States of America. Both robots are, to be fair. But this is ridiculous. Look at the damage being caused by that undercutting bar spinner on Hijinx. They could go far in this tournament. Rusty is being absolutely mullered here. One of the tracks has been ripped away. And it's only a matter of time till the other one gets ripped off as well, I'm sure. goodness me, look at the damage, and it's still going as well. You've got to give Rusty credit where credit's due here. They're still going with one track. They're somehow still going. Oh dear, here comes the other one now. And I think Rusty are pretty much done for here. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that was just a massacre. Oh dear, it was Rusty before it began and now it's in pieces. Oh my goodness me. Hijinx, I tell you what, this is a robot to watch out for in this international tournament. Not just this international tournament, in LEGO Wars full stop. Was a solid performer in BattleBots last season. But I tell you what... Oh! They found their calling here. Rusty's been decapitated. It's still swinging. Oh my lord, they're still trying desperately to get back into this one. Oh goodness me. Oh, what a sad sight. How am I supposed to commentate on this? Oh, Lord. Well, Hijinx going for the pit release button. And Rusty just flapping around. Oh, dearie, dearie me. It reminds me of one of the old people at an old person home fighting over the last pots of applesauce after they haven't taken their meds properly. Hijinx, one good shove should do it here. Oh dear. Well, Hijinx, solid, strong performance there. Nothing on Rusty's solid anymore. And Hijinx go through. Well done to them. And they get to fight for America. Poor Rusty. Well, I honestly thought I'd seen everything doing commentary for this show, but obviously not. Hijinx causing serious damage early on, tearing away the side protection for the tracks, before just tearing off the tracks themselves as well, and then decapitating poor Rusty. But you have to give Rusty credit, it kept on going, or at least the hammer did anyway, despite the serious damage done throughout. Hijinx had to resort to pressing the pit button to end it, shoving Rusty down the pit. And legend has it, that hammer is still going to this day. Hijinx, they go through to represent the USA. Well done to them.
While we sweep the rusty chunks from the arena, let's move on to Fight 5 of the night between the Italian Stallion Mastiff and the charging King B Cubed.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Interesting fight this one. Mastiff of Italy immediately being flicked over by King B Cubed. King B Cubed, of course, representing Japan because of team member Natsuko Hori, originally being of Japanese heritage, of course. Mastiff are on their back and they can't self-right and their flippers come off. Oh dear, it's all going terribly wrong for the Italians. Mamma mia indeed. But they somehow managed to push back on King B Cubed, the four-wheel drive pusher. Interesting. Can they right themselves here? No, not by the evidence of that. They spent most of this fight on their back, and they're still using their wedge to their advantage. How on earth is this happening? And King B Cubed losing one of its lifting forks? Well, this fight is completely unprecedented at the moment. Then again, being honest, from what we've seen so far, everything's unprecedented in this tournament. The international tournament, the second one in LEGO Wars history. Can Mastiff get back now? Finally back on their wheels, and King B Cubed losing their other forks. It's all going wrong here for the Japanese machine. Mastiff proudly boasting the Italian flag on the back of the robot. King B Cubed trying to hit the pit button but failing to. Mastiff getting that wedge underneath. For a weaponless wedge at the moment, it's definitely on top if you ask me, even if it did lose its flipper early on. And even if it's put about 50% of the fight on its back. Getting underneath, but oh dearie me, all of a sudden the pieces start flying off the side of Mastiff. One side's come off completely, the other side is starting to peel away, but they're using good aggression here to pin King B Cubed against the arena side wall. Can they keep up this aggression? Because for me, they are by far on top in this fight. As far as aggression and control is concerned, damage, not too sure. Then again, none of that damage has been done by King B Cube. It's all been done by themselves. So that will be something that the judges will have to take into consideration. But Mastiff pinning them against sidewall again. King B Cube trying to climb up the ramp, I think, trying to get away from them. And more damage done. And that time it was King B on the attack. Doing it, and again! Using what is left of their lifting forks to peel away bits of the wedge of Mastiff. That is good tactics by King B Cubed. And a desperate attempt to get some points back for themselves. Because they are somehow, some way being outpushed by Mastiff until that moment. And all of a sudden, King B Cubed has got the victory! Out of nowhere! They came back slowly and then Mastiff threw themselves down the pit. And King B Cubed go through to the next round. Well, everything happened in that fight, didn't it? King B Cubed, the aggressor early on, flicking over Mastiff. Mastiff's flipper then decided to break there, falling down and eventually snapping off entirely. Mastiff then somehow, whilst on his back, managed to use his wedge to good advantage and managed to get underneath King B Cubed and breaking off not one but both of its lifting forks. But then King B Cubed came back, prying off the wedge, getting underneath Mastiff and toppling him onto their back again, and that was enough to send the Italians scurrying down the pit.
Now we have the gnashing jaws of Chompy take on the yellow peril of Frenzy.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
USA versus the land of Oz here. Chompy, surprisingly, is not upside down despite popular belief. Down comes the big hammer of Frenzy. They look to be improved since the last time after they lost a detonator after being split in half somehow. I'm not too sure how that happened. Chompy grabbing a hold of them, not really managing to do much after that though. Frenzy trying to bring the big hammer down. Or are they? What's going on with Frenzy here? Are they okay? They seem to be jittering around, but they're okay now. I think Chompy getting underneath with those forks. They've got that grabber as well. Don't forget, hence the name. Down goes the pit. Frenzy right on the edge of said pit here. And can they get away? Oh, Chompy nearly threw themselves in. Goodness me. Well, I'm not too sure what the rules are in Australian Robot Combat, but that's a big no-no. You don't throw yourself down the pit at all over here in LEGO Wars. Goodness me. Frenzy are on the verge of going down the pit here. But scurrying away, the hammer not really doing what we thought it would early on in this. And this has all been Chompy so far for me. Grabbing a hold of Frenzy several times now and again, but letting them go. Frenzy seems to be having some sort of control problems here. They can't seem to bring that hammer down. Now they finally do, but it wasn't the most powerful of hits, was it? Let's be honest. It's almost quite feeble. I'm a little bit disappointed here by Frenzy at the moment. Meanwhile, Chompy showing good control and aggression and damage here, and that was a very, very impressive win from Chompy. And Australia go through to the next round. Well done to them. Frenzy, what on earth was that about, lads? Frenzy just didn't get into a higher gear. That was the only real attack they did. Chompy using good tactics there to managing to get a hold of the hammer. Being spun around a little bit, then nearly getting them down the pit, but nearly throwing themselves in. That was the only real time they were in any trouble. Good bit of driving here by Chompy to pin it against the side wall. Then they grabbed it and eventually dumped Frenzy down the pit.
We move on to our penultimate fight of the night, where the devastatingly erratic Sweepy squares up against the chibi kaiju Mecca Bowser.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
It's good to see Sweepy back in the arena again with that big bar spinner. Taking a while to get off the starting grid there. Then again, it is a shuffler. And they're up against Mecca Bowser representing Japan with that big spinning rear shell. Eventually, they're going to come into contact. There we go. Finally. Took a while, but we got there eventually. Haley's comment, I think, just circled the earth again. Fantastic. So, Mecca Bowser trying to bring those fists into play and pushing Sweepy away across the arena. Sweepy, a very deadly machine, a very fun machine. Then again, so too is Mecca Bowser by the looks of things. Tell you what, the designs for this special and for the upcoming series of LEGO Wars have been fantastic, if you ask me. They really, really have been. A lot of hard work and dedication has gone into them. There's that big spinning shell. Oh dear, Mecca Bowser But they definitely came off the worst on that exchange. Pieces of the shell going flying. Will that outbalance the spinner now? I don't think so. Oh, goodness me. But more and more damage being done to the spinning shell. Now, I think it's only superficial damage. The main spinner is the big white bit. I think everything else on top of that is actually salvageable or you know, recyclable, whatever the word is I'm looking for here. I apologise. Oh! What's happening to Sweepy? Sweepy have been absolutely disintegrated out of nowhere! The battery box is hanging out the back of the machine! One half of the shufflers have been completely broken, and Sweepy, despite causing all the early damage, has all of a sudden imploded on itself. And Mecca Bowser may have very well have won this. It's a bit of an uncouth looking machine, but it's certainly deadly and it's certainly effective. Oh, poor Sweepy. We were so excited to see them back, but they have taken some absolutely horrendous damage here. Mecca Bowser, I think you're going to go for the pit button any second now. No, backing away from it. Sweepy, look at that whole side there. Look, the shuffler is completely disintegrated. There's no power left in that side at all. And with only one side working and half the robot hanging out, yes, the countdown of doom has to be had. Oh, what a shame! And look there at the damage caused there by Mecca Bowser. Sweepy out. Mecca Bowser doing it for Japan. What an upset this is. And poor Sweepy, the spinner's still spinning. Oh, that's just a sad sight, isn't it? Poor Sweepy. Mullered. Destroyed. Oh! A Mecca Bowser's shell comes flying off. Oh, what a shame. What a fight that was. Sweepy did all the early damage, although there was a good shove there from Mecca Bowser, but it was around about here where we started seeing the damage being done to the spinner of Mecca Bowser. We saw pieces going flying left, right and centre, especially on that assault, but then out of nowhere the damage was done, look, to the shuffle mechanism of Sweepy. The inside started hanging out and Mecca Bowser eventually destroyed Sweepy enough to go through before damaging their own spinner.
Whilst I mourn over the latest loss for Sweepy, we have our final qualifier between the flame-prone Detour and the perilous Peckers of Mingo.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
This should be a fun-filled, fantastic fight. Detour of Ireland, Two-Headed Flamingo of England. Both very fun, interesting, entertaining teams and machines. Detour with a big lifting bucket scoop, trying to get underneath Two-Headed Flamingo. Two-Headed Flamingo with those two chopping axes. Oh, one of the eyes of Detour has come off. So they could now be a bit of a Cyclops. They could have problems seeing their way around the arena. Two-Headed Flamingo trying to bring those choppers down. Not really doing much damage. Swinging a bit slowly. This is a bit of a slow, grungy battle, this one. Both machines taking their time, trying to feel each other out a little bit, trying to find each other's weaknesses perhaps. Bit more tactical. Detour, they can't quite get that scoop underneath. It's almost as if those wings on Two-Headed Flamingo are just enough width away from the robot to stop the scoop getting underneath. And another eye's come off. Now that was a direct attack from Two-Headed Flamingo, so that was good damage there by Two-Headed Flamingo and good aggression. Down comes the choppers again, causing more damage. They look a little bit weedy, a little bit feeble, but they're actually quite effective choppers. And all of a sudden, look at the pieces now littering the arena floor. Detour, less and less fur on that machine. It's looking more like a frame now, but can they get that bucket scoop underneath? Not if they keep going for front on assaults like this. They're going to have to get behind Two-Headed Flamingo, I think, to get the effective lifts in with that bucket scoop. Two-Headed Flamingo, good control throughout this fight as well. Bringing those choppers down again. Although they're not really doing much damage now. They seem to be getting a little bit slower as this fight goes on. Are they running low on power, I wonder? This is a very tactical battle, isn't it? It's not the the most energetic of fights we've seen so far in this tournament. And again, they don't have to be. There's more to fights than damage and spectacle. This is a different kind of spectacle, seeing two machines trying to feel each other out, two very different designs and ideologies, trying to find the weaknesses on one another. Two-headed Deflamingo seems to believe that the sides are the weak spot on Detour. Detour stuck on their own piece of armour, but managing to get away from there. Two-headed Deflamingo maybe going for the pit button here, and does so. Doesn't quite go down on that attempt, or that one. Have to be very precise with the pit release button in this series of LEGO Wars. That's so not so many fights end via the pit. Although, to be fair, most of them have so far. Detour now finally getting that rear attack that they were hoping to get, though, on to two-headed Deflamingo as time is ticking down, so it's going to go to the judges. Is this last attack from Detour enough to sway it their way? I'm not too sure. Cease called, and it's going to go to the judges, and this is going to be a very tight decision for them. Well, two-headed Deflamingo was definitely the quicker out of the gate and the most aggressive early on in this fight, using those axes to eventually do damage to Detour's eyes and other top panels as well. Detour were in all sorts of trouble throughout this fight early on. Two-headed Deflamingo definitely the more aggressive throughout as well, probably even the more controlled. Detour constantly falling over their own pieces of armour throughout the fight and all, but then got this good attack at the end. Will that be enough to swing it their way? Close fight this.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Mingo. And with that, the field for the second international special is complete. We've seen some amazing battles, tons of destruction, and the occasional driving mishap, leaving us with our 8 brave qualifiers. How well will they fare when taking on the heavyweights of Series 1? Tune in next time to find out.